indication of how carefully people read the scriptures and how inaccurately they record. Always, this miracle of Jesus has been called the feeding of the 5,000. So there were 5,000 men, besides women and children. So it would have been at least 5,003 that he fed. The accuracy of how people look at the scriptures and interpret them is absolutely incredible. Reading in the media, you can see just how inaccurately people record the scriptures. Why is it important? Oh, for our salvation. The whole of salvation is there in the scriptures. The worst thing that ever happened, I think, is when a Bible was put into the hands of every single person. Because every single person would pick up the Bible, read the wrong bits, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Those are the bits of the Old Testament that people remember when they want to condemn people. There was a lovely thing I noticed on Facebook of a man who had tattooed on his arm how much God hates homosexuals and those who sin sexually. And he had it tattooed on his arm how much God hates those who sin. And it said on Facebook that he had obviously quite forgotten that further on in the same passage it forbade tattoos. We pick and choose what we actually want to read in the scriptures. And we apply them usually to other people, very rarely to ourselves. Even with the ipsissima verba, for those who don't speak Latin, that means the very words of Christ himself. The very words of Christ. We read and then we forget them because they're not comfortable words. The disciples asked Jesus to teach them how to pray, and he taught them what is referred to as the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father. In every service in church we use the Our Father, in whatever language. And in whatever language we ask God that he will only forgive us as much as we forgive those who wrong us. Then we forget about it. So many people come to make their confession and they say, I can't forgive. Okay, I should then fold my arms and say, well, go away, God won't forgive you either, because you are not forgiving others. But we read those words, and we say those words. We invite God to forgive us only inasmuch as we forgive others who have wronged us. Then we forget. We throw ourselves on the mercy of God, and we remember that he will forgive us. and yet we still judge other people and don't forgive. What hope then is there for us? We ask God to show mercy and forgive us. And he does, because he loves us so much. But be careful. Be very careful. Because we ask that God will only forgive us inasmuch as we forgive others. So what do we do about it? We start to forgive others, those who have wronged us, and there will be many of them. One of the favourite expressions people use is, "Oh, I have forgiven, but I can't forget." Perhaps then God will say when it comes to the judgment, "Yes, I have forgiven you, but I can't forget the sins that you have committed." We trust in God's mercy. We trust in God's compassion. We trust that God will forgive. And he does. But be careful not to take that forgiveness and mercy for granted, because there is also a judgment. One of the real things which God will judge us for is our words, our words. What we say to others. When we say to somebody, "You're wrong, you're wrong." Who is it that has made you a judge of other people to tell them that they're wrong? Is it because you know that you are right? Is it because you can say, "I know the truth"? There's not much point in knowing the truth if you don't then live the truth. The devils know the truth. The devils know all the commandments of God. The devils know how to trip you up. God alone is compassionate and merciful and shows his love for us.